the really functional design in this gray water system is it slopes. The soils here are really clayey, so the slope actually allows the water to drain out.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Burtner with School of Permaculture, and guys, I'm just north of Santa Barbara with a new buddy of mine, Loren Luyendyk. What's up, brother?
How are you?
Bam!
Air guitar.
So, I mean, we're gonna let you guys figure out which song that was. Look at this abundance behind us. Loren, I think it was about 7 years ago, came here. And what exact city are we in?
Well, this is called the Gaviota Coast, which is technically unincorporated part of Santa Barbara County, just outside of the Goleta city limits. So we're in the country, really, and we're on a 300-acre ranch that's been in my buddy Gunner's family for 7 generations.
And so about 7 years ago, which was not that long ago, they set up this gray water system. Now, we've showed different types of gray water systems here before, but this one is a full-on establishment. If we'll take some panoramic or some other shots of this ridiculous amount of vegetation that's growing here. But Loren, would you kind of walk us through the different vegetation that's kind of here?
Yeah, well, what's caressing me here is a goji berry, Lycium.
It was very caressive.
Yeah, it's caressy. It's very caressable. The goji berry, Lycium barbarum, which is from China, it's a high antioxidant. It's a solanum family. Wonderful plant. Potential new crop for this area. Super drought tolerant, super hardy in all different climates. And then we've got olives here on my left, which is a Mediterranean staple. We've got 3 varieties of olives, and you can see there's pretty much a bumper crop this year. And I think this is probably the biggest crop I've ever seen on these trees, so they're really just coming into production now. And so we planted the olives on the windward side and the uphill side of the gray water system so that they could, because they're way more drought hardy, so they're going to provide wind shelter to the subtropical plants, the first succession being bananas. That they're the fastest growing plants, and they took off. We planted them right around the outlet, the outflow, which you'll see in a second is down here in the middle of the basin. And then here we have a giant tree dahlia, which is actually a really interesting one because it's really coppicable. It produces a lot of biomass, and they have a really beautiful flower. It's just going to come into flower here. It's a fall flowering plant. So that's also right next to the outflow here. And then we planted bamboo in the middle, so that's on kind of a little mound. So there's really like a moat around the bamboo here, and the water comes out this emitter. We'll call it an emitter. And this is, as Gunnar was explaining, an Art Ludwig style, very simple, single outflow. It's got a really rudimentary screen in there because this comes from a laundry. Just a washing machine, so it filters out some of the lint and whatever, and you can see it just really pours over the ground here, and there's actually perforations in this 15-gallon can underneath, so a lot of it goes subsurface. But then I think the really functional design in this gray water system is it slopes. The soils here are really clayey, so the slope actually allows the water to drain out, which is kind of a little counterintuitive. And when Gunnar's dad dug it, at first I was thinking, oh, well, it should be on contour, it should have a level spill, but he was right. He knew his soil, so he had it sloped, and that allowed the water to drain down to these other second succession trees down here, Syzygium jambos, otherwise known as a rose apple. And so those are finally tapping into this underground flow of moisture that's just, you know, slowly making its way down the gray water system here. And those have an amazing fruit. It tastes like rose, and so it's unlike any fruit in the world. But they're also very, very beautiful.
When I first came here and I walked through the mulch pit, this is technically a Mediterranean climate. We are on the coast, but it's on the verge of dry land. And this guild of plants is kind of a mixture. And there were some things that we were discussing right before we got into the video that I think are kind of paramount, kind of like some extra tips just for kind of the climate and what's going on here. Since it's so dry, they did do drip irrigation on some of the trees for about 3 years. And then it took, I believe Gunnar was saying about, it's like a 6-year period before the hydration, where the vegetation kind of takes off. And so if it takes off at 6 years, it's pretty much good to go. And you can really kind of kickstart those things with like what Loren was saying here on these basins and gray water systems. But what else you got, man?
Yeah, just you've got succession here. So anything in a dryland climate, I won't say anything, but a lot of plants require a little bit of supplemental irrigation to get established. So between 3 to 5 years, a little bit really judicious and well-timed irrigation can really mean the difference between success and failure. And kind of the critical decision point is if it's the tree's not making it, the plant's not making it after 6 years, it's like, all right, you're out. So it's kind of the stun method, but I think these have been relatively neglected. We definitely we do not give the plants a lot of water. They've been deliberately kind of starved, but this soil is really clayey, so it holds a lot of moisture. So we can really space out the irrigations a lot. So that's a huge consideration in this climate, is the judicious use of water, but also you have to apply a little bit to set up your systems, and then once they're set up, they just kind of get rolling.
Awesome, man. By the way, Loren, you're doing like Santa Barbara Organics?
That's correct, yeah. My business, SantaBarbaraOrganics.com. Been doing permaculture design for about 16 years. And
rocking stuff happening over here on the West Coast. So, man, you guys are awesome. Make sure to check out SantaBarbaraOrganics.com, and also make sure to check out SchoolofPermaculture.com. Come take a course from us, hire a consultant, know that the proceeds from those two, and hire this consultant too, you know. The proceeds from those go to help our aid and our orphanage program. You guys are awesome. You rock. We love you, and we'll see you next time.